We actually got so much interesting information coming out of Illuvium this week, and it feels like the tides are starting to turn. It feels like we haven't seen a whole lot of development behind the scenes and things like that for the past 2 months. But I personally believe that is all about to change sometime in July and heading into August, September, October, and November, and the end of the year. We're going to see so much coming out from Illuvium, so many new products, some releases probably even in August. A lot of tournaments, and the competitive scene is just kicking off for Arena now, so maybe some marketing alongside that as well. There's so much to be excited about with Illuvium. I'm going to keep a very bullish, happy and positive attitude today. Let's keep that going. I'm really hungry though, so I'm a little bit grumpy. But yeah, how you going, man?
Yeah, good. I've actually been super busy this week, so I've actually fallen behind on a lot of the Illuvium news. So this is my way to catch up. So just keen to see what you've got prepped up.
And you know what's also bullish? We got a comment from a name I've never ever seen in the chat before. Absolute bullish right there. How's it going, man?
Show love to the new guy, not the guys that are always here. I get it.
Heike was in first though. Absolutely love Heike. All right. Let's jump into it. Firstly, we've got an announcement about Illuvium Zero. They rolled out a feature in Illuvium Zero where you can now view other Rangers plots from the leaderboard. Make sure to download the latest build to access the feature. You can read the full patch notes there. I'm not going to go through those patch notes. I have no idea what they have in it. But it's worth noting that straight after that, there was a back-end patch to remove that feature about a week later, I think. 5 days later, they rolled back that patch. I haven't actually read into the controversy itself, but as far as I could tell, basically the issue was that the entire strategy and gameplay was trying to optimize your plot, and basically this meant that newer players or players that weren't very good at the game didn't have to do that at all. They could just copy someone else's plot that already existed. And so people felt like it was a little bit unfair and they were losing all of the edge they had, and why should they play? That's my guess and my assumption. I saw a little bit of that. If anyone knows what actually happened regarding all that, then please let me know. How's it going, Alex? Saying hi in the chat. Okay, so that one was really interesting. So it got rolled back pretty much straight away. This other announcement is really, really sick. So there is an official test tournament for competitive season 1 happening this Saturday, July 5th. It does have the full 32 people signed up. You can add to the what is it called? The waiting list, though, whenever you want. So quarterfinals, finals, 32 players will play a best of 2. Semifinals, 16 players will play a best of 2. And the grand final is 8 players battle it out in a best of 3. 100 ILV up for grabs. Top 16 players are in the money. And future minor and major tournaments will have different prize pools decided on a case-by-case basis, depending on token price fluctuations and other factors like player participation. Most of the competitive prize pool for 2025 will be focused on the World Championship event at the end of the year. So definitely want to start getting more involved if you don't understand how to play the game very well, because it is happening. We are getting there. And every placement in a minor or major brings you one step closer to it. A minor would probably be a weekly tournament of some kind, and a major a monthly tournament. Also keeping in mind that things like, you know what, I'm not going to spoil it. They haven't announced it here, so I'm not going to spoil it. I am casting this first tournament, though, so I'm excited to see as many of you there as possible. And the monthly tournaments we have been discussing, I've been advocating for it to be 64 players, which I think is what's going to happen. So I'm really excited for that.
Are you going to be able to give us an actual behind-the-scenes breakdown objectively on how smooth it all was and like things like that in the next download when you're here?
What do you mean? Like when I cast the tournament?
Yeah. Like how was it in terms of? Are you just casting or hosting? Like what's your role?
I'm just casting. There's a bunch of other team members. I don't know if it's written here. There's a bunch of people from Hype, Phantom, everywhere that are doing all sorts of things. I think Linky's the analyst for the event. We have a moderator. Is it Erica Gloom or someone else? I can't quite remember. I'm just casting, and in future tournaments it'll probably be me and others. It's just with the July 4th weekend, this was just like really bad timing, so it's kind of hard to get a lot of people on board for this one. So that's why it's a little bit smaller. It's a test tournament.
Well, what's the prize pool?
100 ILV.
$100.
In future tournaments, Aaron will be fronting a bunch of his own tokens and stuff like that as well. It will be much, much larger, much more exciting.
Yeah, and yeah, casting on your channel or their channels or what?
I believe the plan is to cast on the Illuvium channels. I don't have any plans
probably
on my channel,
access.
but yeah, Rich and Neil and stuff are figuring out how to get me to cast onto their channel because apparently security got tighter for some reason. I don't know. I've streamed on Illuvium's channels before in the past, so I don't know what happened there. But anyways,
yeah, of course.
A chuckles from Taran being on the inside for a while. Okay. So next up, we got Kieran in the Discord a bunch yesterday, which is really awesome to see. Kieran says, the minute we are ready, he will go back to the old Kieran of blasting Illuvium across the hinterlands, but he can't right now, not until it's looking really good. But he states we're close. Hopefully that's the case. He feels like he's chained in a closet right now. So he's going to come out of the closet, and all he wants to do is break free. But talking can only go so far. When we have the product, then he can resume hyping up the project. So,
and I actually appreciate this. Like, I know the whole we're close, we've been close for a couple of years now. But I appreciate the restraint because I know if I know him, he's chomping at the bits and he just wants to fucking go. And the fact that he's holding it up until we've got a product to see, like, he's right. There's only so much that talking can do, and we've heard a lot of it in the past, and we've been let down. And I think the only way to correct that is by product first, and have like showcasing that. Like we've had this conversation with some of the leaks already of, oh, what do we think about this? And it's like until we know the gameplay loop, like I think that's really even visuals aren't really cutting it for me. Like not cutting it. Sorry. Let me rephrase that. Visuals, as much as I love what Jackson does and what he puts together, maybe this is just my perspective, but I feel like the visuals are losing the impact that they had 3 years ago. And I think what we need now is an actual product that we can experience or fully understand. I know we were trying to get one of the guys on today, one of the game designers, obviously July 4th, yada, yada, yada. But I think having an understanding of that, I think we got way more excited when they had that town hall breaking down some of the potential skill trees and XYZ. That got us excited because that was actually the game loop. That was the experience that we had. So yeah, I think we need more of that, and I'm very happy to hear that Kieran's kind of holding off on the loud noises that he's very good at making until we have something like that. Like again,
Biff says like more lore, something to drag people in, and personally, I disagree as well. I'm with you, Taran, but Kieran actually agrees with you, Biff, and I think he really wants to get the lore and the quests and stuff in people's hands sooner rather than later. Me and Taran are not on that same page, apparently, but that's what Kieran's really keen on that side of things. Well, and depending on how good the story is, maybe it'll have a big impact. I don't know.
I'll give examples, right? And this is where I think, and again, like whatever, my job on here is not even my job. It's a privilege that you even allow me on here. But like my goal by being here is to kind of push the conversation and push people out of their comfort zones and what they think. So when you guys, or when Biff is saying more lore, I'll point to things like Mario Party. I'll point to things like Brotato, Slay the Spire. These games don't have lore. I mean, Hades actually does have pretty good lore, but there are so many games. Yeah, there are so many games that have very little lore, but the gameplay loop is good enough. And I think you could have, like, this is what I'll say. You could have a great story, a perfect story, with a shitty gameplay loop. It's a shit game. You could have a perfect gameplay loop with zero story, and it's still a great game. So we need to understand that and focus on the gameplay loop. That's the thing that I'm focused on. That's where I stand. I don't know
Yeah,
what you. Yeah.
and like on that note, I kind of see the alluvials themselves as the lore. Like no one else has an IP like that, and like just like seeing so many diverse and interesting creatures, that's lore in itself. We just need them to actually do something fun. You know what I
Well,
mean?
jumping on that. What's up, Josh? Yeah, jumping on that, Scoriox. Like we were just talking about this behind the scenes, but when Dota came out, there wasn't really like a big story. Like yes, there was lore. Of course, there was lore, but no one knew about it. It didn't affect the gameplay at all. It was just a game. I've
Well,
been playing Dota since I was 15. I don't know anything about the lore, so it was like the
Dota
gameplay needs to
Dota
be what's
actually
up.
talks to exactly what I'm discussing, where it utilized the Warcraft IP. And I'm saying IP and lore are the same thing, and that's how I see the Alluvial.
Interesting.
So, like, if you had like 10 different studios building Illuvium games, they could all just be fun gameplay loops, but they're using the Illuvium
Yeah,
brand, which is kind of lore in itself.
agreed, and
Uh,
that's what I rock with. But again, that's not prioritizing the lore because the lore, if we're taking that approach, the lore is already existent. Like it already is there.
that's what I'm saying. I reckon the lore exists. I think the quests and stuff are great and all, but I think the Illuvium lore is like the mystery surrounding it is kind of a big part of that as well.
Like
But yeah,
I'm lucky that when I used to work on the team, yeah, JP, it's just very, it's like I don't want to come across condescending, but it's very obvious. The gameplay loop is the thing. Like I said, the perfect example, just logic it out. Perfect story, shitty gameplay, shit game. Shitty story, perfect gameplay loop, amazing game. Like it's very obvious which one is more important, which one is I won't even say important. I mean, they're synonyms, but which one is crucial? I think that holds a bit more weight. It's the gameplay loop, right? And that includes the gameplay economics, and I'm not talking about marketplace economics. I'm talking about the health, XP, burning, blah blah blah, like all of the tap sinks inside of the game. Like that's super crucial. I care more about that than this is just me than seeing like a boss battle. Like I want to know. That's why I've been kind of pushing you to get the guys on. I want to know what's happening with the skill tree, what's happening with the burning mechanics. Let's see what's going on, how they addressing those core issues. But that's just me. I might be wrong. Feel free to
yeah,
tell me I'm
a
wrong.
big component for me as well is the development itself is quite interesting. The cost benefit of lore is way worse than a gameplay loop. For example, in a game like Vampire Survivor, click a button to shoot here. Enemies spawn 10 every 2 seconds. You can build that in a day and it's got replayability for life, right? But adding in special wave enemies and special bosses and all this story and narrative, that takes 100 times longer, and you really only see it once when you're playing the game, you know what I mean, at any given time. And
Yeah,
so it has much less throughput. Now it builds a whole cohesive game and story and everything, which
it
is still
adds depth.
important.
It adds
It's still
depth.
important, but like the actual output you get from all of that effort is such a different level that it's
Yeah.
quite it'd be frustrating for me as a developer. Like I would get the game loops out. I'd probably do no story because I'd be not the best developer, but yeah. So
But I mean,
but like
that's what I would be doing. I mean, it's funny because you know what we've been doing behind the scenes a little bit, and it's like, bro, there's yeah, it's just gameplay loop. It's just game design. Like that's really the main thing. But let us know in the chat. Again, I've seen in the comments people aren't afraid of calling me out and disagreeing with me. But let us know what you guys think. If you guys had to choose what Illuvium should prioritize, is it lore or game design? Or gameplay loop is probably a better question.
yeah, I think Heike says it well, where if the world is constant and solid, the lore kind of tells itself. And I think Illuvium actually kind of did that quite well with the
Yeah.
Overworld the first time. Now, it's not perfect and it wasn't very depth and people were expecting more, but it did a pretty good job. Like the diversity of the regions and how you felt like you went into a different place and the way the map was structured, all of that plays into it for sure. But let's get to the next thing because it actually
Yeah.
talks a little bit to this story as well. So, firstly, Kieran, apparently there was PvP in the Overworld, which I didn't realize, where Andre smashed him in the game the other day. Now, I don't know how PvP is going to fit into the MMO Lite or if it's going to be there at all. But honestly, I do kind of hope there is a PvP game loop somewhere that is exciting to play, or some sort of end game tool, I think that would be a lot of fun. Like a raid boss where two parties are trying to take it on at the same time. That'd be kind of whack, but I hope they do something with PvP at some point, but I don't expect it to be in the main game. But this other thing here was really interesting.
Hold on, real quick. It's funny that you mentioned that because we were just talking about this before. I'll tell you what I mean by that. We've had PvP for a long time, but way before, like not before, but way back when I was there. Like I know they had a version of it way back. I don't know what PvP like Kieran's talking about. Is it Illuvials fighting? I don't know.
It's full overworld PvP. So like the weapons and the Illuvials.
I mean, it was they never mentioned that, right? Because back in the day they had PvP where they were shooting at each other. So is it now weapons? Yeah. Is it now Illuvials? I don't know. But
that's what I'm talking. The same thing.
Right.
Weapons, Illuvials, shooting, all that.
Cool.
100% I believe it's that.
Okay, see, I'm not sure. I'm hoping it's that. The thing that we were talking about just before this thing started was the netcode. I hope they choose the right netcode, right? Like, I think to make sure that the player experience is really good, I'm looking at this now. I just did a quick search. Rollback is considered the best in terms of this. So I'm hoping that with this being the case, I know back in the day when I was there and the PvP thing that they had wasn't ideal because obviously they were just testing it out. But if it is something that we're starting to tell the community and XYZ, that it is a little bit more thought out and a little bit more considered on what that actually looks like. I just wanted to kind of put that out there and for the community to let them know that there is a thing as netcode to consider, and we should start, if we are talking about it, getting answers on what direction they're going in. If we agree,
thankfully for us, because of the success of Fortnite and stuff like that, Epic Games and Unreal Engine was forced to build out some really seamless, easy to use solutions inside the Unreal Engine and stuff like that, which I suspect is mostly what they're using. But I haven't really heard of an Unreal Engine. I've heard of Unreal Engine games having certain problems, but I've never really heard of one about multiplayer. So whatever solutions and stuff they've got, clearly it's pretty decent. So I'm hopeful for that. I don't think it'll be a problem. But the other thing Kieran says is regarding the overworld part of the leak, and we will get into that in a minute. We should have shown it with the enemies that are in there. The intention was for an environment leak, so they didn't include them, but it really doesn't help our cause when we're trying to show that the overworld is no longer empty, and then we show it as empty again. I really love it when Kieran has these really self-aware moments. But what this tells me is hopefully we're going to get a leak showing it not empty, which is actually going to be a really important thing that we need to see from this overworld ASAP. Because the one thing that annoys me about the overworld at the moment is when you go in there and there's no fucking danger present. It's so dull. Like you just walk around, do whatever. Like I want something to attack me. Like not a morphopod, something real. And I feel like that's what fullness would give me that vibe.
Okay, but what you just said, they're two different things. Danger and being full. They're two different things. Because if we remember the first time that we had the hunting video with the little flock of caribou, I think it was. Do you remember that? Yeah. And we jumped in. Us as the community were able to see it as, oh my god, it's alive. Like there's a lot of creatures. And then what we got was a little bit different, I'll say. A little bit different. So I don't really care about seeing that. What you're talking about with the danger, again, goes back to the gameplay loop. What's the player going to feel and experience? How's the player going to act? Because having a full world, if we take it as what it is now, where when you run up to an alluvial, they spread out, they run away. Even if it's full, it's still going to feel empty because the creatures are going to run away from you, which means that your immediate vicinity is going to feel empty. So again, it matters more about the loop and the experience and that of the player than the visual aspect of it being full.
You're right that they're mutually exclusive, but what I'm saying is I need both. I need both. I don't want our current emptiness and you fight alluvials and you fight them one at a time. That sounds so boring. I cannot even describe. I need you to
If
go up
you
to a foe and it spawns like 3 foes around it and a bunch of
Yeah.
other alluvials and you take them all on.
Right.
That's exciting to me. Now, I'm not everyone. I know a lot of people like a more casual experience, but that sounds exciting to me personally. So I need both. And more interactable objects is pretty good, Biff. I don't know what you make them do, but things like secret chests and stuff could be pretty fun. I don't know. But yeah, but that's always a hard one because you don't want to just like walk up to podiums and press E on them. What interactable objects do you make? You know, it's hard.
Again, I think I've said this before. Biff seems to be listening, so I'll try and share a little bit. There's something in game design called MDA, which is mechanics, dynamics, and aesthetics. I've had this conversation with Scoriox before. So something to think about is when you say interactable objects, the aesthetics means how does the player feel? So what do you want the player to feel because you have interactive objects? So what does that actually do? Like, okay, the player just has busy work. What does that actually do? Whereas with Scoriox, what he's saying with the danger, the aesthetic means that the player gets stressed out, right? So what do they do when they're stressed out? The dynamic is what do they actually do? Do they run? Do they attack it? Like you're curating the player experience at that point because you're curating the feel that you want out of them. You're curating the action that you want out of them. Then the mechanic. So what's the mechanic that's going to make that happen? Is it having more people? Is it having the enemies run at you so you actually have to run away or attack? That's where it goes into it. So you need to understand that when you're making these decisions in game design, what is the aesthetic that you want? Like, and I don't mean visually, what is the feel that you want out of the player? What is the emotion that you want out of the player? Having interactive objects. If you can break it down in that MDA format, it makes it much more digestible as hey, this is a good idea, rather than just hey, this is just a mechanic. Because what happens is, oh, we want interactive objects. That's a mechanic. But what's the dynamic? What's the aesthetic? Those two crucial parts are left out. And like what I actually did was you start from aesthetics, dynamics, then mechanics. And what you're doing is you're starting with the mechanic, and the important stuff is just left open, which is very important to address.
Yeah, for sure. So the next thing we've got here is Relax asking again if we can have the Stripe revenue numbers disclosed. I think that'd be exciting for people to see. Kieran says we can easily do this. You don't need to know Stripe in and out. Sign into the dashboard at the same time every week and post the amount of revenue into the Stripe account. Pretty simple. He agrees, and we should start doing it weekly. So it'd be really cool to see that. I think that should be great and be great for Linky's stats and things like that as well. So Kieran also says that that Arena has a lot of potential. Once the Battle Pass comes out with a few other quality of life features, which I think are actually coming out really soon, we will gain some revenue from that. But the big one is the Overworld. People spent millions on it, but it just had no content, no purpose, no life, nothing social, no reason to keep coming back. They are changing all of that, and it's going to be awesome. That is how we make zero players happy, people buying fuel again. So he's looking forward to this upgrade to the Overworld as well as the Battle Pass and things like that. So the other thing where I thought this was really, really cool. So Kieran said that he has no idea why Neil is saying not to ping him all you want, blah, blah, blah. So regarding the MMO, they will be leaking things. Now, I'll believe it when I see it, but I'm hopeful, I'm optimistic, okay? The devlog is being done this week for June. That will have a bunch of content, but it's not going to be like before. Only stuff that is ready to be leaked will be leaked. It's already a completely different game. Way more exciting seeing other people in the world and fighting with you. Alluvials as companions, melee combat with special abilities, bosses, new zones inside the region, new enemies, okay? That's all exciting, but here's the kicker. He's been thinking about this more and more, and it might be best for us to switch the Overworld back into alpha and release things as they are ready. Perhaps not content stuff like quests, unless they are testing it, but things like multiplayer and combat would be really cool to show to a small group. Many games do this. I think just add combat into the Overworld. I just want you to take the auto battle out of it so I can play it. I'm biased. That's really what I want on a personal level. I don't know if that's necessarily good or bad, but yeah, I think
it's short term.
Having people test it will be good, because the last thing we need is for them to go, okay, we're ready to release the vertical slice. And then people get in, they're like, this combat feels like shit. What the fuck? Why didn't you give this to us 3 weeks ago so we could tell you 3 weeks ago it feels like shit? Like, that's not necessarily going to happen. Maybe they're going to release it and it's going to feel great and all the internal testing is good or whatever. But they've lost all of their favor for that. If they stuff that up, the reckoning is going to be pretty serious. And so they really need to put stuff out for testing. That's just my thoughts on that.
I agree. And going even further, I don't know the VC side of it, the raising side of it, the capital side of it. This is just outside of that, right? Leave that out. I believe that we should make these things a closed alpha for the community only. I think getting that feedback from our core supporters is going to help direct us into saying, hey, this is what needs to be improved, XYZ, yada, yada, yada. I know I've been saying both those things quite a lot today, but getting that direct feedback from people that actually care about the product is super important before making it available for people that don't give a shit about the product. And what they'll do is they'll try it and then shit on it. And we want to try and come with them. People are always going to shit on things. That's completely fine. But we want them to do that when we've at least polished it to a point that we are comfortable with and the community can back up fully, right? And I say fully, but a large consensus. So I would actually even go to say, I'd actually back Kieran up and actually go further and say, hey, I think we should make it a closed alpha to people in the community, people that hold ILV. I don't know what that barrier is, but
I was giving this a little bit of thought, and it always comes to me that like so many people are going to miss out and blah blah blah. But then I thought about it again, and I'm like, are they really? What happens if you just break testnet, delete it, remove everyone's access, start from scratch? But then really you just handpick. Like we've got 100, 200, maybe 300 people in the community that are actively either playing the arena or talking in the Discord or making content in various forms. There really aren't that many of them. Get them all in. Everyone else doesn't really matter that much. Yep, and then you'll add this like mystery side of things to it and stuff where people will start chomping at the bit to get access and they'll become bigger members of the community and then you can let them in. We almost need to reset testnet. Like I'm not saying reset testnet because I think people that have testnet access aren't big fans of the community. I think you have people that, I don't want to name any names or anything, but there's a lot of players in the game. Like the only one I can think of at the top of my head that I would say as a name is like Venomore, for example. Hear me out. Like Venomore was a big advocate and stuff, and he probably has testnet access, but he hasn't talked or been in the Illuvium community for a very long time. So I don't think he would really care that his testnet access got revoked. And if you went to come and ask for it back, then that's that. But like, you just, that's fine.
And I think what you do is I agree, reset it all, give it to the people that genuinely want to have it is the thing. And then don't put a restriction on content creation around it. Get the clips, get the things, get the videos out there. Like, I think you need to distribute the content as much as possible while still making it exclusive. And if the product shines enough, people are going to say, what is this? I want to take a look.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that would be awesome. He was talking about like a tiny Overworld group a while back. But that never really happened yet. He was planning to do it, but it never really happened yet. I think just do a closed alpha and it can have like 200-300 people. No embargo or anything on the footage. I mean, you could, but I wouldn't.
I wouldn't.
I'm a content creator, so I'm set to.
And I used to be. I used to be, but I've had experience in the influence. Like again, in terms of marketing, you want rumblings. Like that's the whole thing, right? You want rumblings out there. You want the product out there without you advertising it. I think that's the thing. In terms of social proof, it's having the content out there, being like, oh shit, what is this? That's new. Well, what's happening there? We kind of want that out there without us. I've had this conversation in terms of the socials right now where it's advertising. Like we want to do as little advertising as possible while the community does it for us and the product starts to bring people in. That's a whole different conversation that we can go into.
Absolutely. All right, so let's get into the next one. We've got a few more leaks. We got this one from the summer Beyond promotion, promo disc and stuff like that. Whatever this is, looks like a Grocco holding a coconut, so I think that's pretty funny.
Do we have the late? It was Beyond Wave 4. The recent one was 4, right? Am I crazy?
Yes.
Someone in chat, let us know. Do we have those numbers?
What numbers?
Then how much revenue we generated?
Oh, I have no idea. I'm sure it's somewhere.
Could we? Yeah, I mean, if
you can look for it, just go in the Beyond chat and search up anything posted from Linky, and he'll have stuff for you.
Yeah, I think if we could find that out, because I'd love to see what it was in Wave 1, 2, 3, and 4.
But this is crazy. Roger just straight up leaked the release date of ILV Summer, which is so funny to me. Like, this isn't an official announcement or anything. He just dropped this just because. Now, the date's probably not set in stone, so don't take this as gospel. But yeah, July 31, 2025 for ILV Summer. So, pretty hyped there. Next up, we've got there were some claims on the Going Hyper podcast that Kama from Jackson and Rich, that Kama was going to be a tier 0. Roger
tier
is
2,
confirming
right?
that Rich was talking out of nothing. It has all affinities tied to it because it's a mimic. He's not a tier 0.
I'm assuming it's a tier 2. I'm assuming.
I mean, maybe. Okay, so apparently all the requirements, the minimum games played requirements, are no longer in Illuvium. They're in Illuvium above 2,000 ELO, which you need to play 15 games to be eligible for rewards. But below that, you don't need to play any minimum number of games to be eligible to get rewards from the leaderboard. So, yeah, I might have to play more. I'm absolutely slammed with real life right now. But I will be playing more next week, maybe probably the week after or the week after that. I'm looking forward to getting back into the arena. I really, really am. And this is a really big win for me personally. And I hope a lot of other people that don't have the time to play even 5 games a week. Like, life is crazy. Let's just say that. Okay, so the next one is they did the hard reset and transition to a monthly reset cadence. And that's when they changed all the minimum requirements as well. And we have the big leaks post from Illuvium. We're going to quickly go over the community content and then we'll circle back to that. Folky says that a fundamental part of the community council is to be available and enhance community experience. Join us Tuesday on the 8th for the first council voice and play in the Illuvium Discord. That's pretty exciting. I don't know if they're going to do that monthly or weekly, but that's great. I think it's a great initiative from the community council. The next one is G-Ham, cracked in the top 25. He's been working his ass off to improve at the game, and he is so good now. So huge congrats to him. There was a Gauntlet Clash 12 sponsored arena tournament where Paz did some live commentary. It's only 3 hours long, has a lot of views on it. So clearly some good commentary, some good education there. So definitely recommend going to check that out. And I can't understand this video because it's in, I'm going to say Spanish. But Furies did part 3 of the Illuvium Arena weapons guide. I understand enough words to know that it's a weapons guide. And he put it at the front here.
Says weapons.
The title of the video is Armas do Illuvium Arena, which means the weapons of Illuvium Arena.
Okay.
So if you didn't click through to the video, you wouldn't have known. That's all I'm saying. Okay. Unless you know what Armas means in Spanish.
No, I don't.
Okay. June 2025. Sadly, I'm not going to have music because it keeps making me want to like cut out the music on my video and stuff like that. It's really annoying. All right, let's go. It's not playing. What's going on? There we go.
Are we just going to sit in silence or?
All right, fine. I'll put on music. It'll work eventually. Jeez. Great weapon leaks here. Do you have a favorite weapon, by the way?
The sniper, the water sniper.
Like visually.
Visually, there's so many, right? I need to have them all up to tell you.
I love like the air halberd.
Right.
So this is really, really cool. At first, I was like, I don't know if I like it, but on second thought, I
so
actually
much
do.
better.
I actually really, really like it. I don't like how I think the angle needs to be less steep on the two on the side. Besides that, absolutely love it. The other thing I'll note is they've got away from cards entirely now. Everything in the Illuvium game used to look like cards because it started off with the Ascendant Arena. And this is the final step to getting rid of the cards system in Illuvium, which is really good. This is much more suited to the game, the style, and would work way, way better on mobile too with larger text and things like that. So, yeah.
Right. I'm just going to say this as well. I see this. I care less about this visually than I care about what it feels like to click it. Are we going to get a boom? Are we going to get a VFX? That's the thing that goes into the aesthetic that I was talking about before in terms of the player feel. Am I going to feel like I made a fucking impactful decision? Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
And I see your comments. I apologize. I'm trying not to cuss as much, but sometimes it happens. Like, that is more valuable to me than seeing this. But again, maybe I'm just very, very pedantic, and then everyone thinks that I'm an idiot. But like, I would love to see what it looks like to actually click on it and be like, boom, like this is it. We've been playing Borderlands 3, and like that feeling of leveling up where the whole screen just boom turns gold, you like level up. It makes you feel like you've achieved it. It makes you feel powerful. Like, that's the aesthetic. So what's the aesthetic here? Well, what's the player feeling when they click on one of these? That's what I care. That's what not care about more. That's what I value more than just the static image.
And G-Ham told me to read the descriptions. I'm going to be honest, I hadn't read the descriptions until today. What the hell? That's got to be fake, right?
It's obviously just placeholders. Relax.
Okay, but they are hilarious. Boredom killer. Gain power for every second of fighting. Lose power for every second of not. I actually think that one would be a pretty good augment. Return of Jimmy. Summon Jimmy to the board when you have lost more than 3 units. It just summons like a giant Aaron or something. And Midnight Cravings. Become a monster when there's less than 12 seconds in the match. Eat everything. Ridiculous. All right, let's continue. I love this, and looks like this is actually in the internal build now. So this is coming very, very soon.
See, this is really good. Can we pause this? That's really good because that goes into the mechanic design aesthetic thing that I was talking about in terms of the aesthetic. It makes you feel, yeah, exactly what Biff is saying. That boom factor is super important. Exactly. This is why there are so many things in game design that a lot of consumers take for granted, but the developers and the producers take very seriously. Hit stun, when you're playing a fighting game, when you hit someone and they stick for that second, they flash. That 1 frame of flash, that 2 frames of flash makes it feel like that punch is way hard. Like, these are aesthetic things that affect you psychologically.
This entire UI is Illuvium's best work to date.
I actually agree. No, that's maybe being a bit too much. I think Arena is very good at what it's doing, but
I'm saying like this specific UI.
Yeah, like I really, really like this because this affects what I talked about with the aesthetic. What's the player going to feel? Right now, when I'm going through trying to change my drone blast, when I'm trying to change emotes, it's bland. Whereas this is bringing it to life. It's showing that when I do it, it's going to be quick, efficient. I can see what it's going to look like. I'm going to feel what it's going to feel like. That's what I want. So whoever did this, I think, Florian had a big part to play in this, and whoever else, massive shout out to the guys that made it alive and the guys that designed it, because these are the leaks that we need, and I'm hoping someone from the Illuvium team is maybe I'm being a little bit too where I think that my opinion is so valuable. It's not, but I think what I would say is I believe objectively. Yes, it's my subjective opinion, but I think it's an objective assessment that these type of leaks are way more valuable than the static visual leaks that we're getting, or that we've got in the past. And I hope that does reach. I don't know. Again, I'm being very vocal about my beliefs here and what I think. Let us know in chat, right? Again, tell me I'm wrong. Tell me you agree with me. But I think if we make enough noise about it, I think maybe we could get something that we want, or at least get the message across that it is something that we want. And again, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If you disagree, you disagree.
No,
And
I think this gets the message across, and this tends to be a little bit less important on PC games, but it's incredibly important on mobile. So there's that as well, and this leads into that. Like I could use Tokyo Beast as an example. They have one of it runs a little slow, but they have one of the best UIs for mobile games, and you can really feel it. It makes you feel like you got a premium mobile game, because there's a lot of shitty ones out there. It made you feel like you got something special just because of that UI. When you initially enter the game and you're navigating around it, it is crisp. It is very, very clean. Guardians of the Galaxy UI is pretty solid as well. Not quite as good, pretty solid as well. But I think this is important.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks. That's what I'm talking about.
This is the Piculum attack sequence.
Okay.
Looks just
I would love.
It's Taran. Wait, not that. This one.
Definitely not. But okay. The lips would be much, much larger. No. Pause it. This is just me speaking. I would love to know who was picking the leaks and what their objective is by sharing these leaks. I'll just put that out. Like, I'm very curious.
I think Jackson just finds everything he can.
No.
I don't think he actually takes the initiative to go out and find certain things, no?
I'm almost certain that's not what happens. But yeah, I'm very curious at who's providing, because these leaks are approved. So I'm very curious at who is the one saying, hey, this is what we're going out with this month, and why they're selecting these things. Because what's interesting is because it's a art aspect, and then it's a marketing aspect, right? Of this is going to achieve this goal from a marketing point of view. So I think it's I'm just curious. I think it's very interesting.
We do need asymmetry in armor. You're 100% right, Biff. I don't think it's important right this moment, but I think yeah.
Again, so pause it. Biff, I love the enthusiasm. I generally love the enthusiasm. What I would like, the one thing that I say is, again, go back to the MDA, go back to the aesthetic, the asymmetry. What is that going to do for the aesthetic of the player? Again, aesthetic meaning the feel of the player. Is that going to be a major change, and is that worth the effort? Yes, low priority, exactly. So yeah. I'm not trying to come across condescending at all. I'm just trying to put things in perspective.
Biff knows. Don't worry. Biff's a smart guy. We know Biff's a smart guy. I don't know what this is, but I'm liking it.
Neither.
I'm assuming this is going to be there instead of on top of the drone's head for the drone augments. But I'm taking a pretty wild guess there.
Yeah, I'm curious what this is.
Wait. That last one, Mike Lewis.
Could this be?
That looks like that's a fire icon, but amongst other things.
Yeah, could that be? You know when you pick the augments for the drone, but instead of being it above the drone, it's here instead? Is that what
That's what I just said.
Yeah. That's it just clicked in my head. I'm sorry, bro.
Yeah, I mean that's my only guess, because there's 3 icons, but that fire icon, why would it look like that? Why wouldn't it just be the fire synergy icon?
We're just speculating here. Like, we're just going to guess. Neither of us know.
But that could be a different drone augment. That could be something like all fire Illuvials have 10% extra attack rather than getting a fire synergy chip.
And I'd much rather...
TFT's got a lot of that sort of stuff.
I'd much rather visually have it there in a corner than on the drone. So, yeah, it could be legit.
All right.
Yeah, we've seen this.
Some of my audience might not have Taran I love how they left the placeholder there. Oh yeah, wait, I missed that last time. I like rewatching them because I missed a bunch of stuff. What the hell's this? The big glowing blob thing. That's pretty cool. Maybe the enemies come out of it. They've got the similar color palette.
I don't think they're colored, bro.
No, you know what I mean. Still pretty cool. I just want someone to fight enemies in it. Hold on. First on this one, pretty cool. Other player X. I mean, we've seen multiplayer and... Wait. Look at the bottom left. You can't see it because the thing's in the way, but there's a chat down there that player X says, "This is so cool." I think they find each other. I think this is what Kieran was referring to.
Player X is probably Kieran.
Yeah, probably. Lesser Earth. All the alluvials have little synergy. Their synergy thing next to it. I think it's clean UI. I like it.
Yeah, I'm not against it at all. Florian
Blixum.
I'm assuming Florian is doing the UI. Florian is a... I'm not going to try and cuss, but at this point, it's necessary. Florian is a fucking G. And if there is anyone on the team that's watching this, clip this up and send it to him, because he is a fucking G. Florian is a boss at what he does in terms of UI.
Some of the really early UIs of Illuvium were somewhat weak, but at the same time, it was get a functioning prototype, get a functional product out there. And then when that's all done, you have the time to make something amazing. And that's what's happening now. And I'm loving it. And he's doing... I'm a UI designer by day. He's a far better UI designer than me, I tell you that.
He's a fucking... I'm sorry, I've been cussing a bit too much now, but he is a G. He is a gangster.
Massive respect for his work, especially some of the recent stuff. It's been blowing me away.
Sure, there's other people as well, but... And maybe correct us if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I'm pretty sure Florian is like the guy.
Absolutely love it. So that's the leaks. Anything you want me to scroll back to and have a brief look at? Or not really? We kind of stopped a lot during it. Oh, this one's pretty cool. Yeah, I don't mind that.
Whatever.
Wait. It has a little description next to it. I want to read that. Small highlighting effect. Barely noticeable. So when you have... Okay. Slightly bigger highlight. Glows and makes it feel more alive. Full effect. Most movement and particle effects on the glow. Proof of concept. Yeah, I mean, sure. I mean, it's going to improve the game. And honestly, I've seen stuff like this and been like, I don't think it'll do anything. And then the 1% gets added into the game and they're like, this feels really, really good. And so it's probably going to be one of those ones where I eat my words. That looks great. Okay. Anything else you want to talk about before we wrap this one up?
When are we getting the guys on?
I spoke to Steven a bit. He seems pretty keen to come on. He seems chill with it. Really bad time zones for him. So whenever we do get him on, it's like this current episode, every time we have it, is like 3 or 4 a.m. or whatever.
Let's record it. Let's record it. So I know I'm cutting you off and I know the comments are going to eat me alive for it. But let's record it with him and then premiere it at this usual time. Yeah,
I was just going to make a note that, either the stream would be at a different time or we could do the record method as well. So
let's try and do what's best for these guys. Let's record with them and then premiere it at this time. And we can go an hour and a half. We can even go longer if they're down for it. And I'll actually put in the time and effort to actually like help you out with the questions and really double down on this shit. And I think we should get Steve, Trevor, that's the other guy's name. Steve, Trevor, and Nil. I think Nil being on could be cool as well.
But I want to have them rotating through. So like Steve, obviously. And then 2 weeks later, Trevor, then 2 weeks later, Nil, and then 2 weeks later, Steve, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, bro. If we can get that going with these guys, that's what's up.
I would absolutely love it. Just keeping a note. Couldn't do it this week, 4th of July and everything. Next week, is my settlement date for my property. So I'm completely out all Friday. So no episode of the download next week. Maybe Thursday.
Unless you guys want, let us know in the comments. Would you like me to host a download on Scoriox's channel? I'm taking this. I'm actually not going to do it, but let's see.
That'd be so
People
funny.
say.
All right. But yeah, a week off next week. The week after, I mean, I'm assuming Wi-Fi and everything will be set up, but God knows what my position will be. So no idea on that. But the next possible episode that we're going to go live, I'm hoping to have Steven on. So I will be trying to set that up the best I can. He gave me a little hint that maybe there'll be some extra information coming out in between now and then that we can talk about as well.
I'm not buying
looking forward to
that, bro. I'm not buying any
looking forward
of
to that. Yeah, I see where you're coming from. Okay, have a good one, guys. And with that, the download is complete.